Well, hello there again, friends. Welcome back to the garage. Grab your cup of coffee because I'm Paulie, and this is Paulie's Power Hour. So today is going to be a fun day because we are going to do some painting. Painting can be a lot of fun. It's also can be very strenuous. This is a front bumper for a 2014 Toyota Corolla. I always call it a Camry, but it's a Corolla. I always get the two mixed up for some reason. So I went through and I kissed it all with some 320 grit sandpaper to give myself a nice level surface, knock down any little bit of orange peel that I might have had in here. But as you can see, this is all nice and smooth where my gravity indicator was. All right, this is gonna look pretty good when it's done. So now what I like to do is, just like I used that pre-painting stuff to get all the fingerprints and stuff off of here, I mixed this up. It's 80% water and 20%, 91% isopropyl alcohol. And I will wipe down the entire bumper with this, let it dry, and while same process as before. So this is a Toyota color that apparently has been on the catalogs since 1985. It's called Super White. Now, like I said, this is ready to spray. Most of the times when you get paint, you're going to have to mix, like we're going to do the clear, so many parts per reducer, so many parts per clear or paint, right? But my paint shop is actually super nice, and since I was able to, I'm going to be painting this today, they went ahead and mixed the paint for me, and reducer, and everything. It's ready to spray. I just dump it in the gun and go. Strainer. Gun. Wind. think for doing this in your driveway, I think this is looking pretty good so far. So this is about 3 coats of base, and it's actually a little bit more. I put a little bit more here just because I know this is closer to the road, so this is going to see rock abuse and, you know, all kinds of other stuff is going to be hitting the front of this car. And up here and all in through here, I did do a little bit extra just because bugs, you know, you want to have as much paint on here as possible without it running, obviously. So yep, so this is going to set up for a little bit, and then we're going to hit it with some clear. All right, so now we're going to mix up the clear, and the way you do this is, it says this is a 4-to-1 mix. So that means 4 parts of, it says 4 parts of FC710, which is this, and then 1 part of, and I got a medium hardener because of the weather that's going on out here today. It's warm, but it's not too warm, and it's not too cold, so you want a medium hardener, right? So now that means I'm going to take 4 parts of this to 1 part of this. Now how do you measure this? Easy, easy, easy. You have these nifty measuring cups that you get from the paint store. I picked 4-to-1 because that's what I need, and then I like to take 2 pieces of tape and mark down here, so when I'm pouring this, I can just make a quick reference and see where I'm pouring at. Okay, so now I want to mix up probably a little bit more than half of a hopper of clear, and the reason is it's a bumper. It's not that big, so I am gonna mix. I'm gonna start with 3 and see how many coats 3 gets me, because once you mix it, you can't put it back in the pot. Alright, so 4, I took it up to the 3, right? There it is. So now, I'll put the lid back on this to prevent any contaminants from getting in here. So actually looking at it, I noticed that it was closer to a little over 3, so maybe close to 3.5 on that side. So I just took it up to 3.5. So you want to kind of be a little expeditious about this. So once I sprayed the last base coat, I cleaned the gun. That's the most important thing, right? Your gun has to be clean. Some people are, you know, Gucci enough, and they've got, you know, guns for primer, guns for clear, guns for color, right? I am not that Gucci. I have a gun for primer because it takes a thicker tip usually, and then I have a gun for color and clear. So I clean the gun out. Here she is, all nice and clean. You want about a 30-minute flash time between the last coat of base and the first coat of clear, and that's like minimum. You can do 20 to 30 minutes depending on the weather, but I like to do about 30 minutes. So 30 minutes gives me time to clean the gun, make sure the gun is 100% clean, gives me time to mix up my clear, kind of take a drink, take a break, you know, and just get ready to go. So it's been about 30 minutes. So let's load this thing up, start spraying. Well, here we go. This is 3 coats of clear. Now, full disclosure, I am not a professional by any stretch of the imagination. I just practice. And, you know, sometimes you mess up, and that's fine. Full disclosure, look, you got some gravity indicators. I'm about to wet sand those out, but that's fine because bugs are attracted to clear coat for some reason. I didn't have any of this issue until I put clear on this damn thing. But yeah, so I mean, look, it didn't turn out too bad. A little cut and buff, and this thing will be right as rain. It'll match the rest of the car just fine. Okay, so you're watching this video and you're thinking, maybe I want to try this, okay? So here's your standard Hvlp gun. I think I bought this at my local auto parts store when I lived in Maryland. I bought this set. I bought this one, my blue primer gun, and then a little gray little detail gun. And when I bought these, I want to say they were like $150 for the set. So they're not like professional grade DeVilbiss guns that are like $500 to $600 a piece. You know what I mean? But they do the job, right? This gun painted kit, this gun painted that, and countless body parts for friends of mine. So they work. You know, for what I'm doing with them, they work fine. So right there, you're at like $150. You can go to like your local Harbor Freight or Northern Tool or wherever. Even your local auto parts store has them, and you can get guns for pretty cheap. If you're a professional, would I recommend buying a big gun or a better quality gun? Absolutely. For the weekend warrior like me, this is fine. So you got a couple of simple controls, right? So you have your fan control here, and you've got your fluid control here. This controls how much fluid comes through the tip, and then this controls the actual fan of the tip, right? So the more you open it, the wider the fan gets, and the more you close it, the narrower it gets. So I put some thinner in here. Turn this all the way down, and you hit it real quick, and you see it's just a spray, right? It's just a regular, like a dot. So when you open it up, see how it becomes like an oval. And that's about what you want. You want like a 6 to 8 inch football shaped thing. And then you want to do your 50% overlap, right? So you do one pass, and you come down, and you do your other pass. So 50% overlap, about 6 to 8 inches away from the project you're working on. And then the rest of it is your technique, right? So you want to start spraying when you're over here, right? And you come across, and you keep spraying until you're off the project. And you want to keep your arm level. You don't want to do this, right? Because it's going to be real thin here, real heavy here, and real thin here. Let's see what else. And yeah, I mean, you saw me, I just kind of followed my curves, right? So I sprayed, I started spraying, I did this, and I just kind of kept that same pattern going up until I got up to here, and then I started blasting in through here like this, right? Like I said, it's all in your technique, and that's something you're going to have to learn over time. Okay, so now for you out there that want to try something like this yourself, okay, say you bought a $500 beater car, right, a Honda Civic or a Toyota Corolla or whatever, and you got a couple dings, a couple scratches, maybe the bumper's all chewed up, and this is what you want to do. You want to go this route, but since it's a cheaper car, you don't want to pay body shop prices. Okay, so let's say so from the start, right? So the guns, like I said, I spent like I said, $150 on years ago when I bought these, right? And we can look online and get prices. But so the other thing you got to have too is an air compressor, something that is capable of generating the cubic feet per minute, or CFM, that the gun requires. Okay, if you know somebody with an air compressor, maybe buy them a 6-pack of soda or something. Anyway, so but assuming you have an air compressor, you have a water separator, and you've bought your gun, let's talk about price. So for a pint and a half of white paint, which matches the car, and the quart kit of clear, cups, stir sticks, and filters, strainers, I spent right around, and primer, and adhesion promoter. So that's right around $120. Okay, so just $120 gets you into paint. Right, that's not including the gun, which I think you can buy a gun at Harbor Freight for like $50 or less. Like I said, it doesn't have to be anything perfect because you're painting a $500 fender, or you're painting parts for a $500 car. Yeah, and then the bumper was $130 or $151, something like that. So $151 plus, $120 for the paint, and $30 for the gun, and if you have an air compressor. There are systems out there that are like paint or airless sprayer, not airless sprayers, but they're turbine sprayers. So they've got like a little built-in fan. You plug it into an outlet and it sprays like that. That's an option if you don't have an air compressor. But say you're a weekend warrior, you're a guy like me that just works on cars, and you've got an air compressor already for your air tools, and this is something you want to get into. That's how to do it. Right around $300 will get you in and doing stuff like this. At least that's what we did. All right, well, unfortunately with my sister-in-law's crazy work schedule, she came over last night and I was able to get the bumper on the car, but we didn't really have time for her to hang out while I set the cameras up and did everything. So I took some pictures, and here they are. Boom. All right, pictures. Cool. So this is the bumper we replaced, and as you can see, it's a little worse for wear. It's split right here. Yeah, and actually, I was very impressed with the fit and finish of the new bumper. I knew it was going to fit, but like everything, even all this fit, the grill fit, everything fit really nicely. And then, like I said, she's going to bring it back, and I'm going to wet sand and buff it in a couple weeks to make it as smooth as shiny as the rest of the car. And to make matters even better, the paint matches. So, hooray. So I hope you enjoyed this little painting adventure that we went on together. I know I sure did, and I learned something. I learn something every time I do something like this, and you should too. You should learn every single time you do stuff like this, because that's how we get better, right? You do something, if you mess up, you mess up. As long as you learn from it, that's fine. No big deal, right? So, that being said, grab your cup of coffee. Hope you had fun hanging out with us. Like, subscribe, comment, do all that stuff that helps the channel out, because without you, there is no Paulie's Power Hour. So I thank you from the bottom of my heart for hanging out with me today. Tell all your friends, too, if you liked what you saw. Driveway repair. Super easy, right? So I'm Paulie. This is Paulie's Power Hour. Y'all keep it between the ditches and come back and see.